Hi, I'm David Bell. Welcome to another Far Country Tall Tales and True. This week, stone tablets and impossible ideas. Let's begin with a song. Who goes out in the midday sun? Only mad dogs and Englishmen, of course. Noel Coward made that abundantly clear in his evergreen hit of the 1930s. But not only the English are eccentric, every nationality has its oddballs, and so does every congregation. Eccentrics fall into two categories. There are the stone tablet types, by far the most common, and there are the impossible ideas types, and they are very rare. I once got into hot water decades ago by saying that our local church was made up of all the people who couldn't belong to any other clubs or societies. We were all eccentrics because of our Christian beliefs. Went down like a lead balloon. What do you think? Should a church be slightly different, slightly oddball? I think Christian leaders certainly need a hint of eccentricity about them. Without a good grasp of the absurd, they can't be holy fools for Christ. And when genuine, that's a calling which changes everything. So, what makes a stone tablet kind of Christian eccentric? The story of how the runaway Israelite slaves were led by Moses is incomparable. The impossible journey from Egypt to the Promised Land and all the travails of 40 years in the wilderness is the defining tale that's been told down the ages. Few cannot have heard how Moses was given the law and carried the 10 Commandments, carved in blocks of stone, down the dark clouds and thunder of Mount Sinai. How we interpret the story is an open question, but the point we're concerned with today is how the idea of the law becomes fixed. The metaphor of carved in stone betokens the utterly unalterable. Stone tablet types tend to want to believe in fixed, unchanging decrees. And they've a lot to back their way of being a church or congregation. Jesus himself didn't want to do away with the law. He wasn't about to call Moses a sham or flim-flam man. Instead, he gave the law a set of radical reinterpretations. He embedded the stone tablet types into a universe filled with the unbounded love of God. Jesus didn't need stone tablets to make his point. He demonstrated with his actions and taught with his parables. In a certain kind of way, he was the most outrageous and courageous eccentric of all. His ideas were just so unbelievable there had to be something in them. He mapped a world of faith unlike all other maps. The wildest ideas are sometimes the best. Science at its best, for example, is creatively weird. It has a lot of stone tablet types as scientists, but also some oddballs and eccentrics who do the impossible. Freeman Dyson, one of the great contemporary physicists, said this, quote, "Most of the crackpot papers which are submitted to the physical review are rejected, not because it's impossible to understand them, but because it is possible." Unquote. What I find compelling about the Moses and Jesus comparison is that they are polar opposites, testifying to the same God. A close parallel comes up from the relationship between Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein. Newton said, "If I've seen further than other men, it is because I have stood on the shoulders of giants." No one came to his public lectures. Einstein, with the same humility, acknowledged his debt to Newton and wished how they could have dialogued as he expanded Newton's universe. Incidentally, both Newton and Einstein were deeply imbued with a sense of the same God who appears in such different ways for Moses and Jesus. Stone tablet and impossible ideas types are inevitably in church life, as they are inevitably throughout society. What binds them in Christian churches is their totally eccentric, completely fools for Christ belief. Belief? No, more than belief. It's a total way of life. Join me again, same time, same channel next week. Do subscribe on YouTube and share on Facebook. And thanks for watching.